Hello, everybody. Welcome to my new weekly review. So, this one is the last one for this year. So, yeah, let's hope for a good year. And yeah, we will go and be disciplined, consistent, and then we will make it. So, yeah, we will start with the first two trades I took last week, GBPUSD, CHFJPY. GBPUSD was a trade for around 2.5%. That I take my fully partials at, so I will go over it. This was actually a 104 on the weekly, um, for me personally. But if I go on the daily, what can you see on the daily? There was a nice thing to see why I wanted to take this. So you had here your first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. I will do it in the yellow. Yes, like this. So you had your first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. And within that, you had your shoulder one, your head, shoulder two, within the resistance in the head. So it's a pattern within a pattern. For me, it's actually a small pattern within a pattern. So actually, you could take your limit. Um, so why I was interested in this trade, even if I had 104 on the weekly, was because we had here our impulse. We made the kind of correction, so this is already an indication for us because here we took 1, 2, 3, 4 days to the downside, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to tap this daily zone more than this leg, and it was just at the half of this impulse. So it took a lot. It took more days to reach that shoulder one zone. So, and also you can see a difference impulse. This is kind of a correction. And also, if I go over the 4 hour, you will see the 4 hour is clearly bullish also. Yet here your low, high, low, higher, high. So this was the last low and this was the last high. So everything between this low and this high is just a correction for more upside momentum. And you can see it was respected well in that scenario. We tapped the daily zone, we went to the upside, and then we made a pattern. So I will go over it immediately. So if I go back to the daily, and on the daily, there was also one thing, this new action. If you take a horizontal line here, like this, you take your horizontal line on this daily low wick, you can see we tapped a little bit below it and we went back above it. So for me, this is a new action. There was some new liquidity taken. And when the moment we touch this daily zone, daily supply and demand, so yeah, for me, it was obvious, clean trade, 4 hour was clean, impulse, correction. Then we received here that shoulder one here, this double bottom. Then here the shoulder two. When we had this candle close here, we could take the limit and then we went in profit. And then, yeah, we went to the upside, took 2.5% out here. And then it was a winning trade. So if I go on the weekly is here. So why for me was this a one of four criteria is because the trend is bearish. We had here our high, low, higher high. So we were here still bullish, but then we broke this low wick, higher low wick. So we broke it here with this candle here. So then this was the new low wick, high wick, new low wick. So we were making here that bearish W, as you can see. So this bigger bearish W. And then what I saw was we rejected from this, yeah, weekly selling zone also because this week came till this highs here. And you can see it's also holding here. And for me, it was also clear supply momentum back in the past. So for me, the trend was against us. So the trend was against us. The candle close was for us. This was the only thing. So we had 1 out of 4. So this one, fib from this high to this low, we can still count it against us. And then the supply and demand from this highs here, selling zone, was tapped for more downside momentum, possibly. So for me, 1 out of 4. So the daily was, yeah, convincing me that we had impulse correction, new action, pattern within a pattern, and then the 4 hour, yeah, 4 hour was bullish. So for me, it was, yeah, a clean trade to take, even if I had the 1 of 4. So this was the reason I took it. So then CHFJPY, I think a lot of people who trade will not have taken the trade. So why I took it was I was backtesting. I'm backtesting a lot of scenarios, and I call it a discounted diesel. So it was a good trade, 3 out of 4 on the weekly. It was around 11 o'clock that I could take it. It was a break even, so we will go over it. So I will delete this and I will open daily and 4 hours. So I will go to the daily. So what can you see on the daily? We had here a big head and shoulder. Shoulder one, this head, shoulder two. What you had also was, you had here your smaller, like this is bearish W with an IC here, that smaller one. So for me, this is a small IC, but we can have here some liquidity from, because also I put the horizontal line here on that high wick, your other structure. You can see we tapped it with a wick above that. So this is a new action. So there has been taken some new liquidity. So this could be a potential this could be the potential liquidity that the price could go more to the downside to tap this daily lows or this previous structure as it tapped here this wicks. So why we went break even was also because we tapped its wicks, this resistance wicks that could become support, and then we went back up. Also here we had here some small buyers here. It were buyers from this week. So you could see it was a small 4 hour supply and demand zone here sitting if you look closer. So that's why I took it, because yeah, the daily head and shoulders, then this new liquidity taken, and then I will go over the weekly. So on the weekly, what can you see? A 3 out of 4. So it was nice to take. You had here also a shoulder one, head, shoulder two. You had your trend with you. This was a low, this was a high. We made that break. So for me, it's bearish. We had a new low. We could make a potential head and shoulders. We did that. So we had the trend. Candle close was here against us. This blue candle was against us. Fib from the high here to the low. We were between the fib levels, and the supply and demand on here acting as resistance, support, potential resistance. So this was for me a clear supply and demand zone. So 3 out of 4 we could take this trade. So the daily was clear here, and then shoulders with that new liquidity from that IC smaller bearish W. Then the 4 hour, what could you see? For me, I was waiting for diesel. So this was the first candle, second candle. Then we had two candles in between. So these candles didn't tap the diesel box. So then I count one, two in between. So this I don't count. Then three. And then we closed a little bit above that diesel box, as you can see, it's so small. So for me, this could be a false break. And this is also a sign for me that we have a discount price for our diesel, because I tested it and a lot of times it plays out when we have a small candle or a little bit higher, still aligning with these 2 weeks, because it doesn't, it's important that it doesn't close above these 2 weeks. So if it closed above that smaller wick here, that smaller one, then it wasn't valid anymore. But if you like this, if I do the blue thing here, you can see it doesn't closed above that, yeah, that candle, so that wick. So for me, it was 1, 2, 3. I could take my limit here, 1 pip to the downside. Then we were active. We were running around 2%. I was already break even around here. So then the price came back because we tapped this resistance here from that 4 hour, which could become here also some support, as you see. And then here support, I went to the upside. So that's why I took the trade. So for me, it was a good trade. I backtested these things, and yeah, I see it playing out. So very nice to see. So these were the trades I took, only two. When I go to the missed trades, can see Euro Huff on 27 December. Why I didn't take it was I don't trade any more exotic pairs. For me, I had some bad things with that, with spreads and stuff, and I had some bad losses with this kind of setup. So I review them. I set them in my missed trades, but I say I cannot take them. No, this trade is still running on the 4 hour. So if I open it on a daily, weekly, and 4 hour, so as you can see on the daily with a nice pattern within a pattern, your shoulder one had, so I will do it back in yellow, yet your shoulder one had shoulder two, yet here your supply and demand, some acting as support, resistance, resistance, support, support, support again, bam, we went to the upside. We are holding it. And then this shoulder one here, this head, shoulder two, then this bigger bullish M. For me, it was a small bullish M plus inverted and shoulder, so you could take your limit here, which I did on demo. I took it on demo, it was break-even trade. So then we had another scale-in opportunity. If I look, I will go over first the weekly. So the weekly, what could you see on the weekly? We had a 2 out of 4. The trend was with you because we had here your low. This was your new high. The trend is bullish. We have this, yeah, this bullish M here sitting. What you can also see is you had your fib from this low till this high was between the fib levels. The only thing what's playing against you was here this seller's resistance, 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 resistance was tapped. Then that impulse, more correction. So we had also here this high step. So there were more sellers activated. So for me, the supply and demand zone was against us. The fib levels was for us. Candle close here. This red one was against us when we took the scale ins, and then the trend was bullish, this low and this high. We are making that bullish M. So we have 2 out of 4, we can take the trade. So that's good. So then the daily was clear, small pattern within a pattern, and on the 4 hour, what could you see? We had here that limited you could set. It was a little bit moved, so it was here the limited you could take, and then here we went break even. So then what did we make? After that, we made here shoulder one, this head, then here shoulder two within that bullish M. So it is a pattern within a pattern, and you could take here your trade, and then it is still running because I will go break even after we touch the 4 hour minus 27, which we didn't do. So this was a clean trade to take. I didn't took it on my demo. I was then at the mentorship leadership event. So that's why I was also not looking at it, and it doesn't matter actually because I don't trade it on my real account, but I could take it on my demo. So that's kind of feedback to myself. So then the last one, AUD I think a lot of people will not have it, but I was looking at it and I saw, yeah, we could potentially have a fib completion. We had a fib completion. So like this, 1, 2, 3. I will delete this ones. What was this? A daily, 4 hour, and then a weekly. So if I go over the daily, what can you see on the daily? The daily, we have a bullish M. We have a small bullish M. The first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. We are coming back till the daily lows. So this is a clear pattern. We have a daily lows. We can do our daily zone at the daily lows. So then, what can we see on the weekly? On the weekly, we are bullish. We have this bullish M trend. We are making higher highs, higher lows. So we are bullish. We have already 104. Then the candle close. This one, this bullish candle here, this was for us. So we have 2 out of 4. The fib was potentially against us. Yeah, I was not touching the fib levels because if you drew it from this low to this high, the 61.8 it was here, I think, somewhere, so it wasn't tapping it. So that's why I just said it's not for us, not against us, but you can count it against you because the fib completion was here. Um, so yeah, then the supply and demand zone was clearly against us. For me, it was against us because we had here your sellers from these highs against you with that false break here, and then here the sellers again with some support weak. So for me, there was a supply and demand zone that was against us. So we had a 2 out of 4. We can take the trade. What can we see? The daily was clear bullish M, and then on the 4 hour, what did we saw? We had a FIP completion from this high here to this low. I took my FIP. You can see the FIP level was touched, 61.80, even a 78.60. We went to the downside, we tapped the minus 60.80. So we tapped it, so we could place our limit. Stop loss below the weeks of the daily because I wanted to be sure. I want to have also 3% over 3%. And yeah, you could go and break even around this, yeah, when we received the 1%, then you could go and break even. So that was no problem. And you could also see the 4 hour was also still bullish because the pattern was so small. You can see we had here our first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. So we had still this high and low here wicks that we had here a false break off. Actually, we had a close below that, but you can see it also as a false break. And yeah, back then we didn't know that this was a break, so this was still an open candle. So you could take your limit, and then we went to the upside to go break even. So why I didn't take this trade, I saw it, that potential FIP completion, but the DXY was really bearish. The DXY was bullish because if I drew it on the weekly, the DXY was making here that kind of impulse. And then we had here a major shoulder one, head shoulder two on that weekly. We're coming back, we're rejecting this weekly selling zone. And then we were tapping here that buying zone of that shoulder one. So for me, we were tapping his zone, and yeah, we could go a little bit more to the downside, but there was a high chance that we could take here liquidity for going to the upside. So I didn't want to risk that trade to go, yeah, more to the downside because if you look at the lags, this is more corrective than actually this. So it's it's how you see it, but yeah, for me, I didn't take it because of the DXY. That was my reason. We were on the big buying zone at weekly, so I didn't want to buy AUD. So actually, you could take it if you don't count the DXY or you don't take in mind the DXY. So actually, it was a 2.5% week. Even in that slow weeks, it was good 2.5%. I took the trades I must taken, and AUD/USD, the DXY was just not for us. So really important to review the weeks honestly and give honest feedback to yourself. For upcoming year, there will be some. I expect it will be a good year for me and also for a lot of traders of you. So I hope you achieve your goals in 2024. I wish you a happy new year. Happy New Year. And yeah, I hope your dreams come true and just stay disciplined, work hard, and you will make it. So I hope you liked it. And yeah, see you next year. Bye.